Okay. What's going on, guys? It's Nathan. I am going it alone today in regards to a live stream. Typically speaking, I'm normally live with both Carson and Evan. Normally Wednesdays for my cup of tea, a general film discussion podcast, and we normally go on Fridays for Hyperspace Hype, which is solely Star Wars specific, and that might intrigue you most because you are here watching me discuss Star Wars, essentially, which is going to be an interesting case today. Because I'm just going to be breaking down my animatic that I did for this past. I dropped it on Comic-Con weekend. I think I dropped it day one, and I wanted to get it out for a special event we're hosting for ReactorCon, me being a reactor and my many friends being reactors who also collaborate on this, which I'm going to get into for this whole story. But I suppose we'll start back at the beginning, and I think it'll be certainly fun to dive into all this. So, like many people, I was a little rocky on the Rise of Skywalker when it came out. I still had a pretty enjoyable time, but like I just felt so stiffed in regards to the character Ben Solo, Kylo Ren. He is my favorite Star Wars character personally, and I felt he should have had a more fulfilling ending. I had other stuff that I had issues with, like the lack of Rose and Rey being a Palpatine instead of a nobody, and I've gone into that multiple times. So it was interesting. I decided I knew I was going to develop a rewrite for the film. So what I ended up doing is I took to my Microsoft Word, and on Christmas Eve, literally on Christmas Eve, it was just like a little bit before I was leaving to go to my sister's for I guess kind of like a Christmas party type deal, kind of. Just like I was going to spend the night over there. And I decided, like, I wrote the whole thing up, and then I sent the files to myself, and I screenshotted them, and I posted them to Twitter. And I wasn't really expecting much of a big thing, and then I ensued in some drinks, and then I realized, oh, hey, a lot of people are actually beginning to engage with this, and like some people are commenting, and it was really fun. And I had it as my pin tweet for a while. It's not anymore currently. I think now it's a new announcement, which I'll also get into in regards to the development of my art. But actually, before we do break down the actual animatic that I did, we're going to look into the script and the tweet itself, which I do have queued up, which I'll go ahead and put up here. Actually, I'm going to put myself side by side, kind of like reaction. Look at that. Go a bit smaller, though. So, yeah, it's fun to see it here. I'm going to, like, run through. So, and I do have it linked in the description, the actual tweet thread, along with the actual animatic too. They're all linked in the description right now if you wanted to check them out in full. And yeah, let's just read what I did say. I really do love Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. And yeah, I do. There's a lot to enjoy. But Ben Solo's ending left me feeling empty and incomplete. Yes. So I rewrote the ending to a more hopeful one. I hope you enjoy. And yeah, I posted like 8 pages. Essentially for screenshots, down to like the final page as well. I don't know if I'm queued up to but yeah, like it really did like take off, like 1.7k likes. That's really big for me. I don't have that large of an account. I have under 1,000 followers. Yeah, there was a lot of quote tweets, a lot of people reaching out, which was great. This ending made me cry. Like, I actually do want to spotlight a lot of these. The ending made me cry just reading it. I wish the movie ended like this. Yeah, like all the way down to April. Like a lot of them were coming in like a lot earlier than that. And I would like plug it whenever somebody would bring up ideals that were similar to like what I was offering in my rewrite. So, you know, I would show it to people, and like a lot of people were like, "Oh, great, this is really cool to check out." So I jumped down a bit. This is the only version of Trosh I will accept. This is the true canon ending, and he will never change my mind. Stuff like that was coming out like a couple of days after. Like, seriously, this is December 27th. It was picking up speed like from Christmas Day onward, honestly. So I was happy I could offer that on Christmas itself. Don't read if you haven't watched the movie, but I needed this ending to be real. Like stuff like this being said really touched my heart. Because I really love when people appreciate my writing. I feel like I am best in terms of storytelling with writing. Execution, I'm still developing for live action. I want to be a director. Like what could have been a thread. It's great. I could have lived with this much more better if it ended like this. I appreciate that. Let me see if I can actually backtrack to the main post. Yeah, and yeah, I had a lot of the pages just outlined. Initially, like I titled it Rise of Skywalker Ending Restored, so that I could, it was just like the place title before I had any like real thing. Yeah, I started like straight up like mirroring exactly what does happen in the Rise of Skywalker, like down to Ben being thrown off the cliff and then Rey connecting to the Jedi above. And I think I even ended up having to manipulate a few lines because I knew at some point, well, initially I manipulated some lines here because I wanted the Jedi to be reaching out to both Rey and Ben, because I literally do have Ben come back over the cliff, and like we'll showcase all that. But yeah, it was great. I did like modify a lot of things. I think in the actual animatic themselves, I had to take out some instances of a line, because, or actually like re-record them all together just for the new context of dialogue. Instead of it being singular, I wanted it to be addressing both Rey and Ben. And yeah, I just like broke it down into both ones, and I concluded the tweet thread where I was just saying here, in doing this, I played into all I anticipated based on the connection of Rey and Ben, and a positive spin on It's Time for the Jedi to End. Reylo itself is such an interesting thing because it can both be romantic and not, you know, in terms of like the dyad. But yes, I am a romantic. What can I say? And yeah, I would say this is my saga end, not in like a spiteful way, because I'm still very appreciative of all of the amazing stories that Lucasfilm Limited and Disney have offered in this new era. It really feels like my own proper, essentially like a piece of the saga and trilogy that I grew up with. It really does. Like I know, like I did grow up on the prequels, but like I came in the very tail end. Like I was in like kindergarten, first grade when I saw Revenge of the Sith in theaters, and it was still like mind blowing to see all that. But that's already the trilogy at its end, and there's no more Star Wars at that point for another 10 years. But it was also cool on like a flip point where my dad took me to see Revenge of the Sith in 2005, and then in 2015, reverse Uno card. He went with me to a full Star Wars marathon from Phantom Menace all the way to the premiere of The Force Awakens, and that was fantastic to showcase. But yeah, just to backtrack a bit, and it's great. Like a lot of people that were responding. Did I even have another response? Yeah, and then like when I actually did the animatic later this year in July, that was fun to spotlight. The July 22nd is, and then it wasn't until like the 31st I was like, oh, let me like replug it here, because like because I think also initially on the animatic page I plugged the OG writing pages that you're seeing here. And because got a lot of traction from the Reylos, and I do love the Reylo community. It is a very nice community. Don't believe that the whole community is toxic. That's not what's condoned by any form of fandom. Yeah, just like a lot of people were responding, and I like wanted to respond back to literally every single person I could, dude. I really did a lot of the time, like, whether I was dropping likes or like I was responding to everything. Like, this is amazing writing. I love the hopefulness of your script. Like, this stuff means the world to me, and it's just built on hope. Rebellion's built on hope, you know. I'm actually lost for words. Thank you for this. Like, these mean the world to me. And yeah, you may have noticed like all these blue butterflies. If you're in the know of Ben Solo and his story, you know. I also have a blue butterfly. That's why. All the fan scripts are so much better. Thank you. This one was funny. It was like, it's almost like you're a better writer than anyone at Lucasfilm. And I said, I appreciate it. I too am extraordinarily humble. The Drax quote made me so emotional I started to cry. Like, oh my god, this is absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much. I mean, I feel weird self-indulging, but I really do want to just spotlight the people that are just being so kind to me, man. Like, this is amazing. Thank you for your dedication. I was like, yeah, anything for Ben, man. Like, he really is my favorite Star Wars character. I love him so much. I cried 4 times. Me too. This is so beautiful. You are an amazing hero with no cape. Thank you so much for your writing. This means so much. Thank you. I wanted to stay on brand with the marriage story gif there. Like, there was seriously just like endless. I think it was like stripped like 90 replies. And I really did try to just like showcase every single person, dude. It just kept going. Some people got into an argument sometime, and I would just kind of like leave it be. But just the amount of response. Send this to JJ Abrams. Oh my god. I'm sorry. JJ. Like, I do love JJ and stuff, but like there was some mishaps with Tross with some of this. Masterpiece, I need more. Where is the ending? It was stuff like this that I was like, I knew with like how much people were deeply appreciating my rewrite that I needed, like, I absolutely needed to spotlight it in a form of like actual live action stuff. I wanted to see like more from the other pages. This is beyond beautiful. I cried like crazy. Thanks a million times. Thank you. This is the real end of the saga, the real rise of Skywalker, which is what I think for sure. I literally developed that in the script, and we'll touch on all the vocal points. I'm gonna play the animatic. I don't have audio figured out, so like you won't be able to hear it streamed. But that's probably for the best because my narration is horrible, and I was on terrible mics. I'm finally on a new microphone that sounds way better than what I did have. Yeah, I was responding even to this day, and like just to showcase the shot, which I keep using for the thumbnail, because I think this is legitimately one of my favorite images I've ever painted. Especially at the time, it was my favorite thing ever. I had to strip use it for the actual animatic thumbnail. It's weird. Normally, like at the top, my friends are showcased, but like I don't see them. Like my actual close friends, I get like featured and all this. So yeah, just like breaking down the whole script was phenomenal. Yeah, that about will do it for Twitter. I'm going to queue up the actual page for the animatic, and we're going to dive into that. But yeah, I will say, moving on in that regard, let me just be right here with you guys for a second. In regards to making this actual thing, when I was doing it, I wanted to make sure that I developed something visually appealing. And what I was initially going to do is like I was going to do all this dialogue stuff, and I had already had my set cast pre-record dialogue, and I was starting to like literally just straight up Photoshop the photoreal images from the actual film, like screenshots of the film, and I was waiting for like the Blu-ray to drop somewhere around April so that I can like properly get HD touch-ups of photoshopped images to look like what I'm basically writing. And I actually started that, and I have like a few like really rough Photoshops done. I'm no master at it. I don't even have Photoshop. Actually, I use this program called Affinity Photo. But yeah, okay. Well, now that I know that this is actually running smooth, I don't need to be queuing this up on my phone anymore. So I'm gonna close that out. But yeah, when I was doing that, I was trying to develop, but then sort of like fell off, and it wasn't really going anywhere I was ideally aiming for. Then the whole idea behind ReactorCon, which was assembled primarily full, you know, they give me credit too, but like let's be real, like the heavy lifting came from Brittany and Jordan of Brit Smash and Chainsaw Reacts. They are such dear friends to me, and like we are all set to actually go to San Diego Comic-Con this year, but with the whole virus, it got knocked out, and we weren't able to make it. But we were like, hey, what if we did this event at home for our big reactor community, which seems fun. So we started up ReactorCon. I was like, hey, hold on, I want to contribute something, and now I actually have ability to draw, because I had finally like, you can't like draw with just your finger. It doesn't look as good. So I actually like picked up some cheap styluses that worked good, and I downloaded a free drawing app called Autodesk Sketchbook on my phone. I need to upgrade to like a bigger tablet because this is a very small screen to be drawing on, because you'd have to like zoom in and just like do your best to get everything done. But you know, that's basically what I did, and I made art for ReactorCon, and then it dawned on me, wait, what if I was able? Because initially I was just like, let me draw an iteration of the Emperor, and that's going to be like the first shot we see. And then when I did that, I was like, hang on a second, what if I actually like doubled down and made like not a full animation? I know I couldn't do that. I wasn't at that level yet. I'm still very rough edges of developing animation, but I'm definitely getting there. But I was like, I can definitely do an animatic. I know about like not a lot of people talk about animatics, but like I've seen them for like musicals and stuff when people wanted to have visuals to the set storytelling, and I was like, okay, what if I did that? What if I decide to go and make an animatic? And I got 2 weeks before the con, and I want to premiere it the first day. I want to give myself free like at least 3 days to fix any form of editing or copyright I need to hash out so that I'll have no issue on the actual premiere day for everybody to see. So I went ahead and did that, and I was cramming for nights on end. It got to a point where I had to do 12, maybe even 16 drawings a day. Basically a night, I would literally till the crack of dawn be busting out these images, and that's why they're not like perfect. I think like I've been continuously developing my art style, and I'll even like nitpick it to my own to this day. I might like queue up what I actually have via my Instagram, which are always, all my social medias are always linked in the description. I post my art on my social media. You will see like the evolution of like my drawing. We'll say I based the whole art style on Galaxy Adventures. It's such a beautiful art style that I wanted to see more of. So I adopted that for this, and I think it especially works here because it's a Star Wars medium to a Star Wars medium. For the seeing more sequel trilogy stuff, always fun. So let's actually, I'll break down like all these stories, but let's actually like get into it. I am not very excited to be listening to it, but like I'll go ahead and queue it up right here. Let's check this out. All right, so a long time ago in the Galaxy Fire, right away, the first shot. I like made this from scratch. I didn't pull it from a movie. I like specifically looked up the text and I put the set coloring and spacing of the a long time ago. I had to have it, but I also wanted it to be like a consistent background contrast of like the black screen because there's such a differentiation in the editing. But yeah, let's run through. Yeah, like it goes through the animation. I decided to do the animation just so I could have, or the narration. I decided to have the narration because I wanted to encapsulate all the emotional words that I put into the actual writing. And I knew if I didn't have fluid animation, I wasn't necessarily going to have that. I tried my best, but yeah, I was just developing stuff. So like here I have the Emperor, power and appearance restored, all that. It's literally the exact same stuff from Rise of Skywalker, and had the Sith acolytes all chanting in the distance. I put like all the audio in, and I was just like trying my best to not photo real, but like draw the exact same situations that everybody was in. Like Ben's getting up off the ground. I was literally just like really trying my hardest to like cut corners at points, which you can understand when there's such a crunch time. Like 2 weeks is not a lot of time to assemble this 13.5-minute animatic. Honestly, by the end I think there was like well over like 300 exports of frames that I used for this, and that's not fluent animation where it's like 12 frames a second. We're talking like just individual photos of pieces. So like I would just like draw a new layer of a hand over Palpatine's mouth because he wouldn't really be smiling at this point anymore, but it's the same instant because he does raise his hand going through, and then like it suspends Ben in the air, and it goes into the go narration. He's about to throw him away, and just putting all these textures in, like all these layers, was interesting. I wasn't gonna like cascade him across. This is the exact same Ben you just saw in the previous frame. He's just like more distant frame, but like I wanted to put everything together. It's tough when like I was just kind of like drawing everything that I thought would be useful, and then like I can manipulate stuff later in the edit if I need be. So he's going over, and then he just fades through into the pit, just like in the movie. And yeah, just drawing the different frames. I can even see like there's some outline cuts where I wasn't able to like properly draw correctly, but I couldn't fix it in time, so I was like, whatever. Like even like the like panels, the blue panels on Palpatine's chest plate there. That's just those aren't colored in whatsoever. That's all transparent because I forgot to fill them in. So that's just like the space of the rock behind him. It still works, but it's like, what have I done? There's a lot of defects in this that I wasn't that like you won't notice because like it does move pretty fast, but it's a lot. Yeah, and the blinding lightning effect I decided to pop in with the electrical, and yeah, you can see like it's very simplistic. And I was still developing the actual lightning effect. Like this is just like kind of like quick hand drawn with some outline effect. It doesn't look like anything of the lightning you're about to see later. That looks a hell of a lot better. I was still developing my art craft as I was drawing it, essentially. So I just wanted to get, and it's not even like a whole grand amount of ships you see there. I was just like trying to get the overall generalization. Like I said, it's difficult to get it all together. But then you got the close-up of Rey, and it's very choppy too. To like the outlines, like I have like a way more smoother development now. And yeah, like the whole outlines of like the nose and mouth are like so rough now because like they're just straight like black outlines. Same with the eyes. I've so evolved from that. And yeah, I'll probably showcase it later. After this whole thing, like my upgraded art. But it's crazy. Yeah, just running through all this. I wanted to just check how everything's going. Yeah, everything's running smooth. Okay. Oh, actually, yeah. Wait, let me actually make this bigger. Sorry. My bad. All right. Yeah, and then I start having the Jedi call out to Rey, and I used a lot of different dialogues from the Jedi. This is interesting. Bringing Ben back, I wanted to just basically just move it up ahead. Like I still wanted to have the same aesthetic of what you've seen in the movie, but just recut it essentially to where he's alive. Let's actually like talk about cast. So in terms of character of Rey, I decided to cast quite a few people of my friends in this whole thing. So just start off in regards Rey. I had played by my good friend Brittany, like I said, of Brit Smash. She is easily was the best choice I could cast for Rey that I know. Not only because like I'm very limited in the number of actresses that I know, but like she is literally a stage actress. She does musical theater, so I already know like she has the she has the whole on-camera thing down of just vocalization for like her YouTube channel, but also like performances to an audience. And I was like, okay, well, again, yeah, she's like, I know she sings, but like also she is acting on stage and stuff. And honestly, I think she is a great actress. And in regards to like the character of Rey, I always felt like Rey is just a pure essence of light. I think that especially gets showcased in regards to like her yellow saber that she'll have later. And I think there's nobody I can think of better to fill those shoes than Brittany. She is literally a ray of sunshine, and she's phenomenal. So it was like a no-brainer to cast her here. And in the same context, I wanted to get everybody casted. I have a couple dialogue points where I play Ben Solo, just because I love Ben Solo. I didn't really have anybody else that I knew to portray him. But yeah, now they're all together in this moment. And then the Jedi start to speak out to them. And I initially just cut around the actual existing dialogue of the Jedi in the film. Some of them I had to replace, though. Like Ahsoka, I needed new lines of like addressing both Rey and Ben. So I brought in Brianna from Phantom Reactions, who is also Brittany's sister, which is kind of funny whenever I think about it, because it's literally a sister speaking to another sister in this context. Brianna talking to Brittany and me because I'm Ben, but it's funny. But yeah, I brought her in. She did a couple of dialogue recordings, just like literally like 2 lines, like this line and the she says, "As it guided us." Because I already like since I already had to like replace the dialogue, I couldn't just like go right back to Ashley Eckstein. That would contrast too much. So I wanted to keep the consistency. Also, in terms of the regard of this, Jordan plays Kanan, addressing Ben and Rey, but instead of saying the heart of a Jedi lies in her strength, it lies in their strength. Because again, I wanted it to not be so singular. I wanted to be addressing both of them. This is straight up. This isn't hand drawn. This is just the star field that's actually in the movie that I think I upscaled to the brightness of the stars for. Because I could not commit to doing all that. I was really like cramming. Yeah, like still have like Hayden's voice and everybody and Ewan. And some of these facial features are just so bad that I drew. Like they're quick, but it's so sudden. I was glad I was able to like draw stuff like this though. Like I kept needing to draw the scarred hand on Ben for some form of consistency, even though I think some shots later with the saber he doesn't have it. Force Seal, who's to say? Drawing their boots, they're like working on standing up. Again, you can read the script or like listen to like what I'm narrating. Yeah. So at that point, both Luke and Leia reach out to Ben and Rey, and what I wanted to do there is I ever since I heard the whisper "always" from Leia in the final Rise of Skywalker trailer, I was like, how did you not put her in this moment? Like, it makes the most sense to put her here. To first off, to have her, the last Skywalker, be in this final confrontation properly, and also for her to be able to reach out to her son in such an important moment. So I had it back or addressing like the people that they had the deepest connection because obviously like even though Luke cares about Ben, like obviously they have a rocky situation, and that's fine. Obviously he had a big resurgence of hope in himself through Rey pursuing him on the island in Last Jedi, and effectively bring him out of hiding to face the First Order by the end of Last Jedi. So I felt it was good to have, even though it's already the existing dialogue in the movie, Luke to speak to Rey, but then also Leia to speak to Ben, her son. And then Luke gets to say the Force will be with you. But instead of him saying always, I threw it over to Leia. She gets the final line. That's the final surge of inspiration for the two Jedi, Rey and Ben, to stand against Palpatine. And this is like the one of the few fluent movements. I literally I don't have I don't really have a great flow. This turned out pretty okay, but this was actually just straight up stop motion. I had to do like a couple like every 2 frames, I think, just so it would register on screen for like the movement. Again, like these sabers are also hand drawn too. Like let me try to get another close up of Leia saber. Yeah. Okay, well that's glitching for me. Hold on. Yeah, okay. So like this is Leia saber that I hand drawn and put like a shine polish, even though that wouldn't really make sense in its movement, but whatever. Same with the Skywalker Legacy saber. But yeah, it's great. So I got them to both catch them, and the first time I drew the actual blade ignitions, it felt so gratifying. To like physically embody that on screen was phenomenal. And then here they are, and the music swells ginormously. Music primarily credit to Samuel Kim. He is a master of a lot of super epic orchestral themes for all different pop culture. And he especially did like great stuff not only for Star Wars, but he made a specific Reylo love theme that I heavily use. It's so beautiful. But yeah, here they are standing together, and it felt so gratifying to be able to draw this. Like they're actually standing together. I don't know why I necessarily drew Rey in such like a lip bite. Like I've seen her like that in another Galaxy Adventure that I adapted to this location and outfit. So I just kind of went with that. But it was working for me at the time. You know, I would probably update it now, but the music swelling, it was with the main Star Wars theme was very nice, I thought. And yeah, they just I said like a mutual nod and like they're ready to go. And like this shot is literally in the Rise of Skywalker where like they not to that degree of angry face, but like when they're side by side before flipping the sabers up. I wanted to, and it's great too because these facial expressions are literally taken from Galaxy of Adventures, the Rey versus Kylo Ren on Starkiller Base. These were the faces they were making toward one another when they were clashing, but now they're standing together and throwing all their anger toward the person who actually deserves it, which is great. And just like the hearing the hum that I added in with the sabers coming up was great. And I love this shot too. It's so nice to see them standing together. Like I know the shot had also like leaked before the film actually came out, which is terrible. Luckily I didn't get to see it. I heard about it, but I didn't physically see it, thank God. But yeah, it was nice. And This was an interesting thing here because I had Palpatine here. I don't know if like you can, if I turn off the lightning. Yeah, I do. Okay, if I did not add these finger lines here, it's straight up just Squidward's tentacle from SpongeBob. Like it's a very simplistic outline for the drawing. Even like it looks like he has a baby arm here too. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I'm exposing myself to death right now, rightfully so. It's funny. So yeah, let's keep going here. But yeah, I just since it's at a distance, you can be more simplistic. Yeah, so like a reuse shot again, which is fine because we didn't have the lightning going, so the lightning didn't have to change yet until I drew the lines, and then yeah, that's when I developed lightning to look like a hell of a lot better than whatever I was drawing earlier. Which I think I've even developed even better than that because like I'll have like the light beams actually like locked together as one bright light beam instead of being layered, and you can see the divides. But yeah, this is great. Like you can see, add the shift of like the lightning being blocked, and I had so like they're kind of like thrown off away from each other because why wouldn't Palpatine try to drive them away like he's been? And it keeps going. I think I even drew like an extended frame of like the lightning crackling across the screen, which I'll get to. Yeah, this is like overabundance of lightning, granted. Yeah, this one. And like I was just like working off of flash effects. He's like, I am all the Sith. You know, it's just, it's really close to what actually happens in the movie. I just made a few tweaks to let Ben win. And I think I swapped over to Duel of Fates, Battle of the Heroes cover. Yeah, it's like, but instead of and I, it's and we. And Ben gets finished line are all the Jedi. Okay, and this one was also funny. So yeah, Ben's gonna swing his saber to like redirect the lightning, and they're gonna lock blades to further accentuate the lightning back at Palpatine. It was funny. A funny story that I've told on stream on Brittany's channel is that like I sent her the image of just this outline of Palpatine, which just you can see right here. Like it looks solid, like with the effects and everything in. But like when it's such a simplistic drawing when you actually cue it up. But I'll actually see if I can find it. But I texted it to her, and I was like, I was being silly. I was like, be brutally honest. What do you think of this? And she kind of like didn't know what to say. She was like, what is it? And I was like, it's the Emperor. But I was like, oh, I'm kidding. And she was like, wait, what? Oh my God. Like, I thought you were serious. I felt bad. Like she was saying like how bad she felt because she genuinely could see how terrible it looked. Rightfully so. And it was intentionally horrible, but it's the fact that like she's seen so much more of my art that looks a hell of a lot better. And she thought this was the best I could do. It was really funny. Okay, yeah. So it was just this let me cue myself up. It was just this image right here that you can see how super simplistic it looks and how ridiculous. How he's just kind of but like also again, like there's like no detail whatsoever. Obviously it looks bad, right? That was the point. Because when you put it in further context of this, way better. Looks way better. The throne didn't look that great, but yeah, now the blades are locked. It's great to see them together, and then just have Palpatine unsettled by their presence, which then I start to build up to the essence of all the Jedi, which I thought would have been a cool imagery. It's not an instance of the Jedi. Now, it's not an instance where the Jedi are interfering because that's already been canonically placed that like they really can't interfere with stuff like that. And they're not like reaching out to use their own energy. It's just like them being there and both Rey and Ben feeling their presence really accentuates the gravitas in them to like want to push further. It's that final bit of inspiration that they need to really complete this and go. And it was great that I got like I did these quick mock-up drawings of all of them, so just like you can see, like I did. You may look kind of weird, but yeah, this is I guess technically a live action Kanan Jarrus. I got Mace Windu. I got old Obi-Wan, old Luke standing on Rey's side, Yoda in the middle, and then over on Ben's side. I was like very specific in like this as well in terms of just like people who kind of fall to those similar allegiances. I had Anakin. with Qui-Gon as well as Leia and Ahsoka. I felt over on Ben's side, I felt like it all worked the best there, because really, when you think about it, like, they're not the traditional Jedi. Like Leia walked away from her training. Anakin was always a lot hot-headed. He was different. Ahsoka straight up left the Order. Qui-Gon was always questionable about the Jedi's rules. Granted, Rey always like looked up to the Jedi and looked up to Luke, who looked up to Obi-Wan, who was always in workings with Mace Windu, and imagine Kanan was as well in his young time in the Order. And Yoda, just the balance between it all, just being the high functioning figure above everything. And like the fact that like, and not like the eye lines don't necessarily all face, but essentially like all the Jedi staring into Palpatine's soul is what I'm setting up, and just like his like genuine fear. Because when's the last time you actually saw Palpatine scared? Like, yeah, he's yelled, but like properly fearful in his eyes. I thought would have been an amazing thing to see. But yeah, then the lightning redirects, and then I swap over to like this like Frankenstein horror-esque drawing of his melting face, which I think looks really good, actually. I only did it for one drawing. But yeah, you're about to see here. Like, it's slowly coming in from like the pulse of the brightness from the lightning. But yeah, you can see like the rotting flesh and even like the misty gas of the rotten flesh dispersing out the back. Yeah, I liked how this actually turned out a lot. And the final pushback before the throne begins to explode, and this horrible, cheap-looking lightning effect that I did real quick on a late night. It's like overly exposed brightness, and then I like broke up the statue a bit. I love this shot though. With like I drew one Star Destroyer and I essentially copied them, but I added a lot of like more charred details and explosions. And just them looking up through the gates, I thought was a very nice visual. It was one of my favorite shots that I got to draw. And I like kept reusing shots of existing drawings, or I would like redraw the same drawing my best I could. Ben looks kind of weird, I'll be honest, but yeah, they drop and then they both fall. This was bad. This is where it was probably one of the worst things, because I literally like I was drawing Ben, but it's effectively a readapted Rey face. I don't know why I did that. Like, yeah, the cheeks and the nose were modified, but it's literally her exact same eyebrows and eyelashes. Like, Ben has way thinner lashes that I draw him with than that. So it's funny. It looks so weird, but we're just gonna move on from that. Yeah, some of these are like really aggressive. Like, it just Ben looks really weird at points. I'm totally gonna do like a whole remastered special edition of this down the line, especially probably new recorded dialogue for myself, or maybe I won't even have a narration whatsoever, and I'll let it speak for itself because I'll have proper animation. I actually love this image of Rey though. I think it looks nice, and I was glad I was able to take this time to go into a flashback sequence for. This isn't really something I would necessarily expect to see in the film, but you know, when you write it out like you do in dialogue for like a novelization or something, I wanted to execute it. And the same thing you would see in like a comic book or something, or in Galaxy of Adventures. Like, I start to implement flashbacks for, yeah, like this. Like, I start to implement flashbacks for like The Last Jedi. But before I do that, like, yeah, I was gonna do the exact same thing where Ben goes to give his life to Rey. But Rey's just like, no, stop. What are you doing? That was the point I was going to. Yeah, see, like those eyelashes were like way thinner. Like, Rey goes to grab the hand and pull it away because it's like, no, what are you doing? Don't kill yourself. Don't do that. Like, yeah, we're both like very depleted of life, but since we are a dyad in the Force, we will be stronger working off of each other together. That was the most important thing that I wanted to convey. Since they are a dyad, nobody needs to die. Yeah, and just tear effects. Some of them look odd. I'm definitely gonna get better. Okay, yeah, and then this transition, I loved to do it. It was so beautiful that I was able to, and it was cool because I finally actually got to draw Ben's scar and stuff, and like his Kylo Ren outfit, just with like the ruffles on his arm, and Rey in the Octo hair and everything, which was beautiful. I would love to do that. She's sad, but like, just yeah, to do these match cuts felt so gratifying to do, just to show the progression that they've made. drawing the elevator scene, I loved. Like, I don't know if this is because of my computer. Let me actually like look over to you guys. No, I can't see it on here. Let me hang on. On like Ben's hair on my screen, I see like an impression of like his face in his hair. I don't know if there was like a glitch in my render. That sucks if so, but like, yeah. And then I got to draw this, like the throne room sequence, and it's not the best look for the blades. I think I did like a random effect that I wasn't used to, and it's not very equal. But like just for a quick drawing, I really liked it because it's Rey and Ben standing together in the throne room. I got to draw the cross guard, even though that doesn't look. It's too straight. It's like again, there was I was in a crunch time a lot of the time, so I just did what I could. But I liked to see what I was able to do. And it's just Ben, Rey. Like Rey says Ben's name, but now Ben got to speak it back, which was nice. And I'm just like overly building up this kiss a lot. And like Brittany did a whole reaction to it and she flipped out at this point. It was great. Just like the build up was serious. It looked like it was killing her, but then it happened. And I did like 3 specific frames right here for the kiss. And I was so happy I did. I've drawn this type of kiss before, but like I had like the divide of the black outlines between the lips and that didn't look as great. So I drew the lips without that line, and like in future installments, like I'll keep like flesh color outlines for my drawings. But like, yeah, to see it, like I think it looked even better to do it this way. And yeah, I did 3 frames to really accentuate, like, boom, we're in the kiss, and it was great. And I let the Reylo theme just flood your senses because I do ship it. It's wonderful. It's interesting. It's cool. And it's great because Rey's not only smiling, but then Ben actually gets to smile, and that's lovely. And then we'll start to progress further after that, where it's all not. Let me tell you how relieved I was to finally leave Exegol and all that blue. I was like, thank God, even though we're actually about to get into like more blue. But I was so happy to finally get off Exegol because it felt like so relieving because I was like, everything you're about to see is probably like 3 days before the actual premiere day where I had to start drawing because there was, or maybe like 5 days, but like there was a lot left to do. But I was just so relieved. And then I got to do these quick drawings. Poe doesn't look that great now that I look at it. A lot of them I could touch up a lot better, but you know, it was great. I was able to have the hug between Poe, Finn, Rey, and also Rose. I wanted to include her, and she got like her Haitian smelt necklace and everything. I was very happy to do that. And then I start to allude Ben. He's in hiding. He's starting to get some more stubble on his face, just to show the passage of time. And he's in an outfit that I got inspired by what Adam wore in Silence, the Martin Scorsese film he starred in. I thought I wanted to basically emulate that look. So he's in hiding, and we're gonna find him a bit later. But then I start to set up Lando, who was very gracious to get the casting for, because initially this was the very last role that was gonna make or break the actual casting of this whole thing, because initially I didn't have anybody for Palpatine. I was gonna, because I knew there was one new line for Palpatine that I ended up just cutting altogether, or cutting a previous line, so I didn't have to deal with it, because it's really hard to emulate the Emperor's voice, especially in terms of people I know, and I certainly couldn't do it. It was even getting to a fearful point where, like, do I have to do the Lando voice, because he has a lot of dialogue and I don't want to have to do that. Luckily, my friend Anthony Knight, who has his own YouTube channel as well, you can check him out. All these people that I featured, I'm pretty sure I've linked in the description below for this, in this animatic description, so you can check that out. But yeah, he stepped in, he delivered his lines, and it was phenomenal. Like, he did like 3 line reads of every individual line, which I asked for pretty much everybody, but I think Anthony actually has the most dialogue of anybody in terms of recording. So he literally saved this, man. Thank you so much once again for coming in. It was great when Brittany did her reaction too, because she didn't know he was in it. But yeah, now they're on the, I forget which planet, but the one where the rebel base is at the end. And they're talking about basically Lando is set to retire. He was already kind of like out of the war, and then he got brought back in. But he was like, I'm just gonna go and live out the rest of my days in peace, kind of like Bilbo Baggins in Lord of the Rings. Like Adventure's done, and the drawings, not the drawing, the not drawing. What? Sorry, the flying. Yeah, his flying days are kind of over. So he was like, I'm looking to do a charter with Chewie. But I'm not really going to be continuing my day. He doesn't get to fully explain it because Rey kind of already has an intuition. I think it's about to, yeah, right here. Like Rey has the intuition that like she knew today would be the day. Kind of like a sense of the future. This was bad because I basically had to. I was in a crunch time, so I had, and it doesn't look good, and I could do way better now. But like you can see a blue haze outline of Rey because other than redrawing like her mouth, I think in this scene. I literally had to just take her out of the existing scene from Exegol because I didn't have the exported layer. It was all phased into one thing, so I couldn't just like take her away and use her again. I had to literally cut her out, and this happened a couple times, and it was so straining to have to run through stuff like that. Like it was bad, man. It was bad, but we got it through. But yeah, okay, and this again, it's a cheap look of the Falcon. It's a very cheap outline, but because it goes so fast and like it's super overexposed from the engine, it still worked for me. But yeah, basically, Lando's set to go retire to this place, and he wants to leave the Falcon with Rey and Chewie. It was cool, and he even makes like a gag here, like Chewie is always best in the co-pilot position. Don't tell him I said that. His little joke there. Nothing against Chewie, obviously. I love Chewie. It's just fun. Don't be so serious. But yeah, then they just go straight off to this blue planet. It's not Kamino. And I love that I was finally able to implement it. Now, this is where I cut corners because this is actually existing Galaxy of Adventure art style cockpit for the Falcon in the chairs. And I drew over Han and Chewie. I was really everything else after that though I did like redraw on my own, but like I really need to implement it fast. And it sucks that I don't have such a good art style because this looks great. This is the first time I drew Chewbacca, and he turned out so good in like the set colors I was using. Like he looks so beautiful. I think Rey looked great with her finger point that I'm drawing. And then Lando here too. I think in like one point with Lando, which we'll get to, like I did like 6 separate facial expressions, so that was fun. Yeah, right. And like I wanted to also convey in this, like Lando isn't sure what Rey's plan is, and Rey herself is very uncertain how this is going to go because it's a family reunion she's setting up. They don't know that, and so I wanted to maybe I think I adapted this from like my brain of like the title Blue Harvest, but I wanted to make a forest that was primarily blue, like all the growing like moss on the tree was blue, and like all the and on the wood, it is literally like the wood built from the trees, and just like smeared from it. Same thing with actual grass. Like, and again, the grass is blue. I want it to be like a more like peacefully tranquil planet, I guess. Moving away from red aesthetics, even though like Ben was in like a pure white on like his ship and stuff. It was interesting to explore. I like the idea of just a blue planet, a blue forest. Yeah, that's when I started I was like really late in the game when I was like, can I get like mouth movements going? And like just with like a quick fade effect, and it worked pretty well. And then yeah, she moves back to her, and then yeah, Ben steps out. You still got that stubble effect, and this is great because it's the on-screen reunion of nephew Ben and Uncle Lando, which I was very happy with. And yeah, you watch the facial expressions of Lando with like the eyes blinking and everything. He's like talking. It's just a lot going. But yeah, when I had showcased this, it was just like, yeah, obviously we could like be petty, but like let's just skip past that. It's too much. Like the war's over. In terms of redemption, like Leia has just never lost confidence in you. I want you to know your mother always cared about you to the very end, and that she would be so proud to see you now. Because he, in this context, Ben has helped destroy the evil of the galaxy, which is lovely. Yeah, obviously, he's not completely absolved of his sins in the eyes of the galaxy. That's why I'm keeping him in hiding. And he's going to be building off of that to a further point. And then I really wanted to set up just like the scared eyes that go like super thin. I was like really thinking like anime comedy basically, and just like the silhouette of Chewie right behind him, and that's how terrifying it's going to be because it's Chewbacca and he rips arms off of people. But then he has the hug, and like Ben's kind of like real. I really love the whole effect there with like Ben being so stunned. I love that because like I know obviously I'll address it now. Some people were confused as to like why would Chewie straight up hug Ben when he killed Han? Obviously I get it there, and obviously like in that moment Chewie was very pissed off and he straight up shot Ben in the side, which is big damage from that bowcaster. But I want everybody to remember context that really the last existing friend and family member that Chewie has around that he was very close to was Leia on this base. Leia on this base with the rebellion for a straight year since the events of Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, a full year where Leia has always probably confided the most in Chewie and has always addressed her situation with Ben, probably if to anybody to Chewie, who grew up around not Chewie, but like he was always around in like Ben's life growing up and stuff, like kind of like an uncle figure, which is kind of the ideal. So I was very happy to just go the route of like, okay, so he'll be more understanding of that whole situation. It's like, hey, an actual like piece of my family member, of the people that I love, like both Luke Han and Leia are gone, and you even see Chewie break down on the base early in the film in Rise of Skywalker. So, and yeah, Lando's here, but he's about to take off. So now it's the ideal that a continuation of the people that he loved, who already was lost to the dark side, but now he's back. Like legitimate, like he's back, and it's nice, and like Chewie doesn't want to lose that. So here we are, and yeah, obviously Ben isn't really an emotional person, but then his pupils come back, and it's nice. And that, I put in this effect of taking off of the Falcon, which is great. Drawing this, let me just say, the interior of the Falcon, I hated drawing because it literally, this whole thing, and it's not amazing, obviously, but this whole thing took me a solid 8 hours to draw all of this. So that was fun, and to put all these details in. Also address this. It was great that I got to add this fade effects. It sucks I couldn't get full face of 3PO and R2, but this is just for the proper angle and the seating. It was great. Yeah, Chewie. I think Chewie has is an interesting look because I think it shifts later to a smirk. But yeah, like you have Obi-Wan and Han and everybody, and it's great because you have like it's all younger, right? And you have the training orb, and everybody's here. But then I go over here, and it's one of my favorite images, and I have a lot more. I actually have like solid versions of these that I can post. I went with a Battlefront 2 campaign looking Han with the beard, and you got Chewie over here. And actually, when I did zoom in on Chewie, he actually is smiling. You got the training orb in a different location, and I think Ben's also smiling a bit. But you have like his little laser sword. This was basically modeled after the Phantom Menace Anakin look. Which I modified to, I think I did like a form of like Luke's long hair that I readapted. And it was great. It was fun to do. I will say a mistake I did when I took out Obi-Wan, I never drew the rest of Han, so he just has this this wedge out of him, and it's like, oh my god, what have I done? But otherwise it's pretty good. It's a very nice moment. So yeah, now they're both in the cockpit, and it's so nice to see this imagery of just Rey and Ben himself on the Falcon cockpit again, not Kylo Ren in the deleted scene. We're talking Ben Solo canonically in the film on the Falcon, and I love it. And yeah, Ben, and I say like Ben's taken aback for a second to be offered the pilot seat, which was Chewie's idea on the scene, but he doesn't hesitate because Ben's like eagerness of piloting. He's an amazing pilot, obviously, and just thought of him flying the Falcon. Like we were robbed to not get that on screen. Look at this dopey face. Look at this dopey like this. This is one of like the mouth selections you get on like the Me channel on the Nintendo Wii. God's bad. And like this goofy smile. That's too much, dude. I have so adapted a lot better than now, but I was still happy that I drew the cockpit. Yeah, but yeah, like all the cockpit, it's a lot more simplistic, but I hand drew all this. I could do that brightness effect so much better now. But it's cool to see Chewie and Ben piloting together. Like that imagery just sounds amazing. And then yeah, I do the hyperspace effect. I'm going to self-desecrate myself again because I hate the outline I did for Ben's hair. It looks so shaggy and melted. But whatever. We take off. Let me make sure there wasn't any new comments coming. No, I didn't think so. Nobody's watching this. So yeah, that goes along. Then we're at the end of Rise of Skywalker, the final scene on Tatooine. We do the whole sandcrawler thing again. I did not have time to draw Jawas individually, so I was like, we're not going to do that. But I will have the Falcon go across the sky, which is fine. But then, yeah, this was the implement of the new imagery. This was a model of the Galaxy of Adventures Ben in his Jedi training days, and we're kind of back in that outfit. But now he's got the stubble that's a lot darker, again, to show the passage of time. His hair's cut a bit, and you got Rey here, who's... I don't know why I necessarily drew her this way. I think maybe she has like that uncertainty of like where she is. It was interesting drawing like this underneath of the Falcon as well. But yeah, it's and then BB-8's there as well, and then they're making their way, and it's still, and I didn't draw them walking to it because again I was on a time crunch, but it was like cool. I got to finally draw the Lars homestead for the first time, the sand igloo and everything, so that was fun. Engulfed in sandstorm, which I address, and then like it gets to the point where there's a lot of like cute moments I wanted to put in between Rey and Ben, like the fact that Rey picks up a piece of scrap and just like she does since she's a scavenger and she's gonna surf it. Ben doesn't know what the hell's going on, so he's like, "What are you doing?" But then she goes to ski down the sand slope, and Ben is actually amused by watching that. You know, he loves her. And then I wanted to do like a Force Echo effect of like Luke's old bedroom, where Rey can see Luke playing with the old T-16 Skyhopper toy that he played with in New Hope, keeping that nostalgia, but also just like it's a nice sentiment. Also, yeah, continuity error, I would say, is the fact that like there's like the hoodie's gray instead of like a lightish gray. I don't know, I messed up, but yeah, I did the setup of like finding the cloth. So we take the cloth and then we lay the sabers. I do the whole saber effect again. It's basically the same ending. I just tweaked very minor things. So then they decide to wrap it up, and then I do the sand effect of like them both pushing it into the sand for the burial. I actually like that effect. So what I did here is I did essentially kind of like putting in the fan theory of the everybody would say leading up to throughout the sequel trilogy, like maybe Rey will adapt her staff into a lightsaber, a double-bladed lightsaber. In the movie, it's just kind of like a single lightsaber hilt that looks to be made from her staff, which I was like, okay, cool. That's actually a fan theory I did. What I did here was I did make it a double-sided thing that they both take their hands on and they turn to unlock it and then take it apart. And so now it's mirrored. They're both the same hilt, but they're their own sabers, which I'd imagine they'd just differentiate by sensing their own crystal. And that was the thing with the crystal too. I had the ignition of who ignites first. I can't remember. Okay, Ben ignites his blade. And I address blue just like his mother and grandfather before him, because that's also what he had in his Jedi days. And then Rey with the yellow blade, which I really loved. And I can just imagine like how amazing it would be for Ben to show Rey where to get a Kyber crystal and going on that journey for the first time. Then I adapted the the Force Ghost between Luke and Leia. I wanted to showcase them together, and to recreate this shot. This is where I actually like started by the end when I actually decided, oh hey, this could actually look nice. I did the painted effect of the backgrounds for like the horizon, like the cloud sunset effect or sunrise. I think it looks great, and yeah, you can even see through Luke and Leia. They're in the Force Ghost form, put the glow effects, and I think they look fantastic. I even added like more of a smirk to Luke, so he's actually happy this time. And like boom, they're just looking at each other. You know, it's a nice time. Ben or BB-8 comes up and he projects an image of the school. Again, this is another thing that was not hand drawn at all. This was just I cut out the image of Luke's Jedi school, and I put it some layered effects on it to look like a hologram projected from BB-8, and they're looking on at it. And it was I wanted to like just further accentuate the Reylo, and they're coming together, and it's very nice. And I think that brings us to our final shot, which is, again, one of my favorite things I got to draw. It's the final shot of the Rise of Skywalker, exact same way, but now Ben's here, looking like a damn Disney prince. Look at him. Look at these coattails. Look at that. I don't know what I did, but it was just like, and I put the glow effect around them, and just like the swoop of the painting and the light from the suns. I think that it was so gorgeous. I think it looks phenomenal. And it was just so fun to create this. I really dug it. So I'm going to, and then I just kind of dive into the music past this point, and that's it. And a lot of credits, but I wanted to just get them out of the way. It's not like me, each fade in, fade out. So I was just like, yes, I wrote, drew, directed my cast, edited, and narrated this whole thing. Original Star Wars themes with John Williams. And I would like to preface to showcase my cast. Again, we had Brittany as Rey, which is great. I was Ben Solo, which is dream come true, you know. Brianna was Ahsoka, which was nice. Thank you so much. Anthony as Lando. Jordan, Chancellor X as Kanan. Again, thank you guys so much. I don't know why. I guess I might have this slash moving forward, but yeah, I've developed my own production company, Snark Productions. Story behind that, but I'll get into it another time. It's Nathan Ross Film. It's just to wrap it up. Star Wars: The Rewrite of Skywalker. It was great. So I'm glad I was able to do that. I will actually. Oh, hey, Katie, what's up? When did you pop in? Just now? Hey. So. What's up? So actually, yeah, I wanted to go ahead and preface that my art. So I gotta do what I never do and pull up my Instagram on my laptop, and I will subsequently share that screen. Boop. Do 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 do. Show how I've developed my art a lot better. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Chrome tab, Insta of Graham. All right, you guys see? Okay, cool. So just to showcase here real quick. I'll just full screen. Yeah, I did a much better effects. Like if I did this drawing to like a commemorative selfie where we were supposed to be at Comic-Con. Yeah, like you can see like the mouthing detail. They're not black outlines anymore. They're like the proper flesh colors, and same with the noses and stuff. It looks a hell of a lot better. Did that for my hero character, which is another thing to basically jump off of this. Making this showed me, hey, I can actually I could do this. I can be I can do this animated type stuff basically. So I want to showcase that. Just now, sorry, I've been venting about Supergirl. No problem, Katie. Okay, so basically this whole thing behind me, this is why I used the binary sunset I painted for the animatic. It was basically this whole project was a stepping stone to make me realize, hey, even though I'm stuck inside to the virus and I've been putting off this series for years, I can actually make it a reality and I can properly learn animation, and I can develop it into this. And this is effectively an announcement. This is a whole suit reveal and everything of my character, Scott, for the series Time Blazer that I'm going to be doing, which, moving ahead forward, just to preface, I've discussed this before in the past. I think I'll actually like bring up a couple of things, but let me actually move over to, yeah, like, so for example, here's the poster for season 1. Yeah, so effectively I will let me actually like make it a little bigger. Yeah, this is my poster for season 1. And you'll see like my character in the middle, Scott. The character of Ashley on the far right will be played by Brittany, who I can't thank enough to be. I couldn't think of a better person to long form commit this long running series that I'm going to be doing, which is going to be fun, multiple seasons. It's going to be a blast. And also my co-host on my podcast, Carson, who will be playing the character of Nick on the far left there. And yeah, you just see like this little mist effect going on, just like, it's like, what does it all mean? You know, we'll get there eventually. Did I add in more close? Okay, yeah. So yeah, it is close up of everybody, which looks great. And even then, this is going to look a lot better. So yeah, I like the flesh color outlines look a lot better, and they'll also get way better with time because this was choppy, but I actually have a way of using guidelines now, so it'll be fun to explore that. Let me also queue up another thing real quick. Hey, shout out Game Night Crew, since Katie's watching. What's up, guys? New channel that's launched. You can check in my featured channels on my channel. But yeah, now we're just running through it. But yeah, this is a good showcase. I did an animation for ReactorCon of Brittany as Jesse Quick on the Flash. So I don't know how smooth it's gonna run. That was loud. Hang on. So yeah, you can see that running, which is great. It looks amazing there, running in a fast effect. I actually also posted a slowed down version of the frames, so you could see like the fluidity of like all the individual key things I had. So like I said, just going off of this whole animatic we saw, we're going to be developing animation a lot more fluently. Like this, I think alone was like 15 layers. So obviously I'm definitely going to be putting more effort in learning different animation tricks and tips and all that. So it's going to be a blast to showcase, no doubt. But there's not too much more I can add. I was just really happy to be able to showcase this whole event and just bring this all together. And subsequently, even though I had my issue with the Rise of Skywalker, I have to thank them for that, because had I not had my issue, I wouldn't have done my rewrite, and had that not taken off, I wouldn't have decided to do this thing for ReactorCon, which would then open my eyes that I could do animation, that then realized I can create my world however I actually want it. I don't have to be constrained by live action budgets or anything. Unlike, can we even afford to order a pizza on set this day or something, you know, and like treat my cast. This is makes things a whole lot easier. I mean, probably more difficult on myself because I have to like draw every frame, but I think it'll be worth it in the long run. And I'm so happy that I have realized this opportunity before me, and I was happy to get back into drawing because I've drawn all my life as a child on paper, and I always loved the look of the permanency through pen, which is a fun fact about me. I never liked to draw in pencil. I was always a pen dude. Like once it's there, it's there, and I just did like sketch outlines. But yeah, it was fun, and I'm super excited to see what the future holds. And I didn't want the stream to go too long. It's already been a little over an hour. So I'm going to wrap it up here. But yeah, with that being said, guys, that is how I rewrote The Rise of Skywalker. No negativity toward Lucasfilm and Disney, even though some things should be handled better. I can't deny that they've given me some of the best years of my life, some of the best friends of my life. And again, like through their missteps, I was able to creatively express myself in such a way that will only deepen me further into my own original content, which I cannot wait to debut for you guys. Hopefully we'll have the first episode out soon because the script's done. Me and Carson just have to record, and I'll have to animate it. And then I'm going to try to shoot. It's a tall order for sure, but I'm going to try to shoot for an episode a month for Time Blazer. We're going to see about dropping episode 1 in October, episode 2 somewhere in November, episode 3 December. Episode 3 currently being my favorite that I've written so far. So it's gonna be a blast. But with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed my little showcase of my animatic, just to break down the commentary of all that. And if you enjoyed my breakdown of that and you want to see more long form content of actual like podcast discussion with other people, or you just want to see more short term stuff with like reactions that are heavily edited and you don't have to hear me go well every like 5 seconds, let me know in the comments. You can subscribe forgot where I am. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already. That being said, I hope you have a great day, and may the force be with you always.